Healing from self-sabotage. Why you keep blocking your own growth. Hey fam, welcome back to Sherre Webb Life Coaching. I'm your girl, Sherre Webb, the Mind Shift Coach. Welcome to the space where healing meets purpose. Here on this channel, we focus on becoming self-aware. Unpacking childhood trauma and learning how to heal through our undeniable connection with God. If you've ever been stuck in cycles that keep blocking your growth mentally, spiritually, or emotionally, you're in the right place. This is where we break generational patterns, as we like to call them generational curses. We shift our mindset and we step boldly into the purpose God has designed for us. Okay? So get ready to heal, get ready to grow and shift, because your breakthrough starts right here. You say you're ready for peace, but you keep picking chaos. You say you want success, but the moment it starts coming together, you ghost your own growth. You pray for the door to open and then freeze up when it finally cracks open. That's not procrastination. It's not laziness. That, my friend, is self-sabotage. And if you're honest, you've been doing it for years, okay? You've been getting in your own way, backing out of blessings and blaming fear when really it's much deeper than that, Because listen, self-sabotage, it doesn't start with a bad habit. It starts with a broken belief system. One that repeatedly tells you, I'm not good enough. Nothing ever works out for me. Or if I get too happy, something bad will happen. Okay? That's the belief system. These aren't just thoughts. They're stories you've been rehearsing since childhood. When the trauma first started. I can remember when I was around the age of 9 or 10, my oldest sister was going through her own childhood experiences. We're 3 years apart. She's 3 years older than me, which would later surface as unhealed trauma. My mom was too, even though I didn't know it at the time. My mother was a fighter. Well, she was a fighter, okay, back in her day. And so was my sister. And from a young age, I realized that I didn't like the way conflict felt. It made me anxious. It scared me, You see, like many of you, my mom and dad were born in the 1940s, or maybe your grandparents were born during that period of time. A time when racism, it was not hidden or subtle, but it was blatant, in your face, and aggressive. They lived through an era of segregation when Black and brown people were hosed down in the streets. They were banned from certain neighborhoods and forced to use separate bathrooms. Okay? And entrances. Like they couldn't go through the front door. They had to go through the back door, They remember watching Malcolm X speak. They remember Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. And they remember exactly where they were when he was assassinated, which ironically was just 14 days before my mom gave birth to my oldest sister. This was the environment they were born into, and it shaped them, So if you're a person of Black or brown descent, chances are you were born into an environment where trauma already existed. Not just personal trauma, but generational. And back then, therapy, coaching, counseling, those weren't resources we had access to, And if they were, they were frowned upon from our people. But I'm not saying all of this to give us an excuse to sit in bitterness or self-pity. I'm saying this so you understand the pain didn't start with you. Childhood trauma in our communities wasn't always created by people raising us. Sometimes it was inherited, passed down, recycled in silence, what some call generational curses. I see it as learned survival skills, behaviors that were necessary in a different time, but no longer serve us today. Okay? I say this to empower you because we live in a time where information is available to us now. Healing is accessible and awareness is definitely possible. You have the power to pause, to ask yourself, where did this pattern come from? And to make a new choice. You don't have to carry what your parents never had the chance to put down. Understand? You can choose to break the cycle. You can choose to change the trajectory of your lineage. Because, listen, the stories from the past we've heard and still are reminded of are the very ones that taught us that struggle was familiar, pain was expected, and peace was temporary at best, But hear me clearly, please. You're not broken. You're not crazy. You're just trying to survive, using patterns that no longer serve the version of you that God is calling forward. Okay? And in this video, we're going to break those patterns wide open. I am going to give you answers to these 3 questions. Number 1, why do we self-sabotage? Number 2, what's the emotional and spiritual root behind it? And number 3, what tools can we use to stop it for good? Okay, here's what you'll learn in this video today. What self-sabotage really is and what it's not. The emotional, spiritual, and psychological root causes. How childhood trauma and fear of success play a role in your everyday life. Why some people are more comfortable in the struggle than stability. I'm going to give you 5 signs you're subconsciously sabotaging your progress. 6 healing tools you can use to create safety, stability, and self-trust. I'm going to give you a faith-based process to rewire how you respond to success in alignment. I'm going to tell you how to stop shrinking when it's your time to shine. So, let's get into it. So, listen, what is self-sabotage? Really, what is it? At the surface, it looks like procrastination. It looks like ghosting your own goals. It looks like picking toxic relationships or making impulsive choices that lead to regret. It also looks like overthinking and talking yourself out of opportunities, or starting strong but quitting as soon as things get real. But none of that is the root, okay? Those are just symptoms of something much deeper. They're symptoms of an inner belief that says, I'm not safe with success. They're symptoms of a nervous system that's wired to feel comfortable in struggle. They're symptoms of a heart that hasn't learned how to receive good without fearing it will be taken away. Let me break down what self-sabotage really is. So listen closely. It's trauma. It's a trauma response disguised as personal failure. Okay? It's you choosing the familiar over the fruitful. It's you unknowingly rejecting the very things you have prayed for because somewhere inside you don't believe you're allowed to have them. Listen, here's a very interesting fact. There is a psychology behind it all. Self-sabotage is often born from emotional neglect. You didn't get the emotional validation, support, or presence you needed growing up. I can relate to that. So now, success feels foreign. Love feels unsafe. Don't get too close. And your nervous system, well, it expects abandonment. It expects chaos or struggle because, that's where you were raised in. That's what you were raised in. Unworthiness programming. This means that somewhere along the way, you were made to feel as if you were too much or not enough. So now you reject opportunities before they can reject you. Does that sound familiar? Fear of stability is another one. You've spent so long surviving, hustling, and grinding that peace feels boring. It feels boring. You sabotage good things because chaos is the only rhythm you've known. Okay? You may understand having delayed grief with unprocessed pain. You haven't made peace with your past disappointment. So now, when something good shows up, you get suspicious, like, too good to be true. You silently ask questions like, is this too good to be true? Or, when's the other shoe going to drop? Let me be real with you. Let me be real with you. You are not afraid of failure. Okay? You're afraid of who you'll have to become if you actually succeed. Big difference. Because here's the thing. Success forces you. It forces you to shed the story that says, I'm broken. I'm not enough. I always mess things up. I'm not built for this. And even though those beliefs are painful, they're comfortable. They are what you've rehearsed for years. So even when success shows up, you push it away. Self-sabotage is not a sign that you're incapable. Understand? It's a sign that your nervous system doesn't yet feel safe with thriving. Take a moment. I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what is the first good thing I ever rejected? And why? Why did I push it away? Let that question sit with you. You might cry, you might journal, but that's healing. So now that you understand what self-sabotage really is, let's talk about the signs. Let's talk about the signs, the ways you might be, ways you may be doing it right now without really even realizing it, So here are 5 signs that you're self-sabotaging without realizing it. If any one of these signs, or even maybe all of them, make you have a, wow, that's me moment, drop a comment below. Say, wow, that's me. All right. So now that we've talked about what self-sabotage really is and why it happens, let's get real about how it shows up in everyday life. Because some of y'all are self-sabotaging and you are completely unaware of it. And we're all about self-awareness here on this channel. So here are 5 signs you may be blocking your growth without even knowing it. All right. Sign number 1 is you only feel motivated in the midst of crisis. You wait until the bills pile up. You know what I'm talking about. You wait until them bills pile up, until your back is against the wall, until the last minute. And then and only then do you show up. Why? Why? It's because crisis is your comfort zone. You don't feel worthy of moving unless it's a fight, unless there's chaos, unless it's dramatic. Gotta be drama going on, addicted to drama. But success is built in calm, in strategy, and in obedience. If your motivation only shows up in emergencies, understand that is self-sabotage. Sign number 2, you start strong, but then you ghost your own progress. Can you relate? You get excited. Oh my God, I'm about to start this. You plan. You even take the first steps. You're so excited, and then suddenly you disappear. You avoid your emails. You stop posting. You stop writing. You stop showing up for you. But why? Here's the reason why. It's because something deep down says, what's the point? I always mess things up. Starting felt good, but staying committed feels like a threat to your identity. So you retreat. Here's the 3rd sign. You attract, listen to this, you attract people who mirror your pain. Oh my God, this just took me back. You keep dating emotionally unavailable people. You keep befriending folks who take from you. They just take from you. They drain your energy or they distract you from your goals, and what you need to focus on to see growth in your life. You keep attracting and attaching to chaos, even though you say you want peace. But why do you do it? Why? It's because we don't attract what we want. We attract what we believe we deserve. If your relationships always feel like emotional warfare, it's not just them, okay? It's what you're tolerating because of unhealed patterns. All right? Here's the 4th sign. You delay success with over planning. You've got outlines, color-coded notes, strategies upon strategies, but no action. You're waiting until it's perfect, until it makes sense, until you feel ready. But deep down, it's not about readiness at all. It's about fear of what happens if it actually works out. Over planning, unfortunately, is a socially acceptable way to stay stuck. All right. Here's the 5th sign. You don't feel safe when things are going well. Ironic, but true. Everything's peaceful. Money's flowing. Your mind is clear. And what do you do? What do you do? Think about it. You start scrolling. You pick a fight. You sabotage the good because you don't trust it to last. Subconsciously, you think, I just knew it was too good to be true. You've trained your nervous system to expect chaos. So when life gets calm, you panic. Feels weird. But hear me on this. Peace is not punishment. Okay? Consistency, it's not boring. God did not deliver you just to watch you self-sabotage and self-destruct. Can you relate to any of these? If so, don't beat yourself up. Just recognize it. Call it out. Bring it into the light. Because that's where healing begins. So next, I'm going to walk you through 6 healing tools to help you break the cycle for real. For real. Okay? No more living stuck on the edge of a breakthrough. We're going to break that today. So if you are really ready to heal, stick with me because this next part is especially for you. So here are 6 tools to help you heal and stop self-sabotaging. Okay? I'm going to equip you with tools for spiritual, emotional, and mindset healing. So that you can stop blocking the very things you have been praying for. So let's talk about how to stop sabotaging your own growth. Let's talk about it. Because listen to me. This isn't just about doing something different. Okay? It's about becoming someone different. That someone has to be safe with success. So here's the first tool. Journal the root, not just the reaction. What this means is don't just write about what you did. Ask yourself, what triggered that behavior? What emotion came up before I shut down or distracted myself? What fear was underneath that decision? Consider this. I want you to consider this. Behind every act of sabotage is an unspoken belief. A belief such as, I don't trust myself to handle this, or I don't deserve ease. I don't deserve an easy road. If I shine too bright, I'll get hurt. So write it down, name it. That's a step. The first step to healing. Okay? Here's the second tool. Start regulating, not reacting. When you're dysregulated, your brain goes into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And that's when sabotage happens. Before you make that decision, before you scroll, quit, or react, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Put your hand on your chest and say, I am safe. I don't have to rush. I don't have to panic. Then choose a response from peace, not panic. Understand this. Nervous system regulation is a spiritual discipline too. It is. Here's the third tool. Reparent the inner you who learned to survive. A lot of self-sabotage is coming from the unseen child within you who never felt safe, seen, or supported. So now what? That part of you still expects rejection. That unseen child within you still assumes good things will disappear. That unseen child still craves chaos because it felt like love growing up. Listen to me very closely. You can't punish yourself into healing. You can't. You have to learn to speak gently to yourself in moments of fear. Instead of punishing yourself, try instead to speak kind words to your inner child. Words like, I know you're scared, but we're not in survival mode anymore. We're safe now. And I got you. I got you. That's how you rewire self-sabotage. Okay? Here's the fourth tool. I want you to build micro-trust with yourself daily. So don't try to do everything at once. That's too much. Just do what you say you're going to do consistently. Small things. Start with something small, a small repeatable action like 10 minutes of writing a day. One promise to yourself that you actually keep. Just one, or a morning routine that brings peace, not pressure. You ever wake up like, I got to do this, got to do that? No. Trust isn't built in a breakthrough. It's built in repetition. Repetition. Okay? So let's move to tool number 5, which is invite God into the areas you've been hiding. Believe it or not, a lot of self-sabotage is spiritual. It's not that you don't love God. It's not that. It's that you haven't trusted Him with your disappointments, with your fears, and with your shame. That's the hardest one. But healing begins when you stop performing and start being honest with yourself. Be honest with God. Pray like this. God, here's the part of me that still chooses fear. Here's the part that sabotages when I get too close to purpose, your purpose for me. I surrender this version of me, and I trust you, Lord, to show me how to live healed, healthy, and whole. Invite Him in, okay? Because healing always accelerates in partnership with God. That was good. Yes. So let's move on to the last tool and the 6th tool, which is this. Invest in accountability that aligns with your healing. Here's the truth. I want you to mentally chew on this for just a second. You weren't meant to do this alone. You weren't. So whether it's therapy, coaching, or strategy, you need someone who can see the pattern and call it out with love. There's the ticket, with love. So if you're tired of repeating cycles, if you've been ghosting your own goals, or if you know what to do but just can't seem to get out of your own way, then let's work together. Book your free self-discovery call with me today because I'm here for you, okay? Because sometimes the next level version of you just needs a guide, who believes in you louder than your fears do. And I'll leave that link below in the description. Listen, healing from self-sabotage, it isn't about doing more. It isn't about working hard. It's about trusting yourself slowly, gently, and daily to stop choosing the old story and start living in your new one. And I promise you, the more you show up for you, the more life will too. This is your invitation to transformation, not perfection, just movement. Just movement. If you're still here with me, you're not just watching a video. You're walking and you're waking up to who you're becoming, And I want you to know this. You are not broken. You are not broken. You are not behind. You're not a failure because you've struggled with sabotage. You're not. I did. You're not. You are just surviving in a season in your life that required something different from you, But now it's time to choose something new. That's it. Choose something new. Now it's time to choose you. It's time for you to walk in your purpose, not panic. It's time for you to show up with power, not perfection. It's time to let God rewire your identity so you can stop running from the things you've been praying for. You don't need a whole new life. You just need to stop blocking the one God's been trying to give you all along. So, if you're ready to stop ghosting yourself and ghosting your own growth, if you're ready to get real, I want you to get, this real strategy and support and the mindset tools rooted in purpose, and finally launch the business or the book idea that's been sitting in your spirit. So book a spot in my 147 self-publishing strategy call and plan. It's a one-on-one session with me where we will break down your vision, identify your self-sabotaging triggers, and build you a custom publishing or business mindset plan. And finally set you up to finally finish what you start. So I want you to click the link in the description or comment the word book below. Let's stop sabotaging and start building. All you have to do is make a decision. Okay? If this video spoke to you, drop a comment and let me know what part hit the hardest. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's ready to heal. And remember, self-sabotage, it isn't loud. It's subtle. But clarity is loud and clear. And it will always call you back to who you really are. Okay? Fear is strong. Fear is very strong, but purpose is stronger. And you're still called. You're still chosen. And you are still enough. Okay? I'll see you in the next video, fam. Stay grounded, stay healing, and always mind your shifts, your mind shifts. Can't wait to see you in the next video. Have a blessed